There are a lot of ways to become a professional musician, and in this video I want to show you 3 ways specifically that you can do that. I've got that cotton mouth thing going. I apologize. How do I do this? Sponsor me. So first of all, I want to share a little bit about how I became a professional musician and what that looks like for me on a day-to-day basis. So it all kind of started for me when I was 13 years old. My dad bought me studio time for my 13th birthday. So me and some friends were able to go into a studio and track some really terrible covers of some Creed songs that I loved. Yes, With Arms Wide Open was one of them. And yes, I did play that song without an amp, with all my pedals plugged directly into the soundboard. It's special. I'll have to play it for you sometime. But it was at that moment that I realized that the studio is not just for huge bands and artists like Britney Spears and Linkin Park and Creed. I don't know. Like someone like me, a 13-year-old kid, can come into a studio and actually record. Never thought that was possible until that moment. So with that knowledge that, hey, I can actually do music, I pursued it and I practiced really hard, and I wanted to become a studio musician and a touring musician, and I didn't really know the differences at the time, but I just practiced and ate up any tab or any CD that I could get my hands on, and I would chart them down, and I really just ate it all up. So fast forward to junior year of high school, I'm at a church in Savannah, Georgia, and my worship leader kind of said, yeah, man, you're pretty good at this thing, and you could do this for a living. And he actually invited me out to play with him a couple times, and that was super exciting because I'd never really traveled much, but as a 16 and 17-year-old, I got the opportunity to go to a couple places that were an hour away and make $50. I was super excited, and was like, man, okay, you can make money playing music too. That's pretty cool. Through that experience, he also told me about a college that gave scholarships for musicians like most schools do for athletes. So it was kind of like this: you go on the road, you play a show, and you have the merch table set up with applications and stuff to go to the school. So that's how they pay for you to be on the road. But it was pretty sweet. I got a couple hundred shows under my belt just by being in this band and going around and playing in front of people. So the same year I graduated, I decided to move to Nashville. I kind of had these ideas in my head what it meant to be in Nashville and live as a musician. So much of it to me was technique and being right and knowing my music. And yes, there is a lot to that. However, I didn't realize just how different it would look. And so my first year in Nashville was absolutely terrible. All my friends were on the road constantly, so when they were touring, I was not, and when I was touring, they weren't, so we never got to hang out. I felt really isolated, and felt, it almost felt like there was depression in my life, and I decided to move back to my college town where I knew people, and I could at least be around people that I knew and I loved, and it turned out to be the best decision of my life because one, I met my wife back in Virginia, so that was great. Also, I was able to discover my love for a specific genre of music called worship music, and I really connected with the messages of the songs in worship music. So for me, it became more than just about the technique and about being right and knowing my stuff, and it became about the experience and the relationships, and that was awesome. So, but after grad school, I guess I failed to mention, I went to grad school, got a business degree, I don't know. Then I came back to Nashville. My now wife, but my then fiance, we're kind of deciding what town we should move to or what city we should move to based on music and design. She's a graphic designer. So Nashville was one of those places that was very appealing because it's both a design city and a music city. Very literally, a music city. The music city. So we moved to Nashville and had community built in, and I think that's a huge thing in doing music as a career. So kind of what I'm doing now is when it's not a global pandemic, I am on the road a good bit, and then I also record in the studio. So what that means is I have a studio here at my house, and I send out bass tracks and guitar tracks to producers and artists, bands, whoever needs tracks. But therein lies our segue. So anyway, that's my story. Like, that doesn't have to be your story. In fact, the main reason I'm making this video is less about the 3 tips and more just to say everybody's road looks different. So the way I did it could be completely different than how you do it, and it doesn't make it any less valid for either of us. Success doesn't always look like playing with someone super famous. I mean, it can also look like playing for huge artists and bands. Like, that's very possible too. But I just wanted to share that everybody's road looks different, and here are some practical steps, 3 practical steps exactly, in how to pursue a musical career and become a professional musician. So step number 1, make friends with artists and producers. This isn't to say you should make a non-genuine friendship just to get something. That's not what I'm saying. What I am saying, though, is if you're in proximity with people and you're a friendly person and you make friends naturally with those types of people, they're the ones that are going to be asking you to play on something. Very rarely have I ever gotten a call from someone who doesn't know me and asks me to play on something. So yeah, find some artists, some producers that you can learn from, that you can become friends with. A good way to start is to ask them to coffee and buy their coffee. That's a great way to say, hey, I'm also adding value to what you're doing, rather than just trying to mooch off your knowledge and walk away with a free consultation, basically. Step number 2 is to let people know that you're available. It sounds so simple. However, a lot of times people don't know that you do something until you let them know. So as simple as this may seem, a post on Facebook or Instagram that says, hey, I'm stepping out and I'm playing more guitar. I would love to play with an artist or a band. If you're looking for a guitar player or know someone who is, let me know. I'm trying to do more of that. Something as simple as that actually speaks volumes, because people don't know that that's what you're trying to do until you actually tell them. It doesn't have to be super self-promoty or anything. It can literally just be you saying, hey, I'm looking to do this. Are you looking for someone who's looking to do this? Let's pair up. So I'm almost done editing this video, but I didn't like step 3. So here's a different step 3. Step 3, set some goals for yourself. So there are 2 different types of goals. There's macro goals and micro goals. The difference is, like, a macro goal would be something like, I want to play with a nationally known act. That's great, but that's a macro goal. That's a big goal that has a lot of smaller steps to get there. So a micro goal would be one of the ways to get to that macro goal. So I'm a big fan of the micro goal thing, because you can take small steps towards something rather than feeling like you have a long ways to go to get there to your macro goal. Take, for example, if you want to play for a national act, a micro goal for that might be to get some advice from some musical directors that play for bigger artists, that might be able to help you understand what bigger artists are looking for and even how to be considered for a band in the future. So maybe another micro goal for playing with a national act might be playing with a regional act. And who knows, that person might grow to be a national act, and there you go, you've reached your macro goal. But the micro goals are a lot easier, and it's a lot easier to track your progress. And honestly, it feels a little more achievable than a big goal. So anyway, there's tip number 3, or step number 3. I didn't like what I originally said, so there's that. But anyway, I appreciate you watching the video, and I hope to do more of these videos in the future. I'll probably do some stuff about gear and tracking and recording, and other stuff about touring and what that looks like. But yeah, let me know in the comments below, what kind of stuff would you like to see and learn about, and how can I be a resource to you? If there's something I can help you with, maybe I can make a video out of it, because I'm trying to do more YouTube videos. So like this video and subscribe, or don't like this video. If you hit a thumbs down, it will make me sad. If you hit a thumbs up, I will greatly enjoy that. If you hit the subscribe button or that bell button or whatever they're doing these days, again, that would make me very happy. So hopefully this was helpful to somebody. Peace.